Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural divine heirs and their subjects. Today is March the 7th, 2024 on the ancient moon calendar, 2024 on the ancient sun calendar, and 2024 on the Greco-Roman civil or civic calendar. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity and in accordance and alignment with the ancient Noahide laws as stated by this Holy Congress. This is a sovereign living ancient Article 3, Moorish American, Al-Moroccan, Universal Court action. We are the divine sovereign living justices and Ego Sum Pauline Denise Ritchie. My free chosen sovereign appellation is Light Tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminuto nolo in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. We are capit et corpus juris legalis, which is our statement that we are the lawful and legal living natural head and body for our empire. All Moors are the divine, original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, Israelites, Hamathites, Cushites, and Hittites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our honor, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original, indigenous, ancient, sovereign, natural, divine empire state for Morocco. We're the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are ancient Washington District for Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate and the Earth-wide Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. Today, we are demonstrating and exercising and being the law by our sovereign status, which is the original, indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient Article 3, living United States District for Columbia Court, and we're the sovereign fiduciaries, original creditors, executors, trustees, divine ministers, possessors, grantors and grantors, and the title trustors for all causes for action. We are peace. We are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves and accept our own sovereign divine ascension. We do possess in our custody all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. We, the true living God nation, are not at war, and we exercise and demonstrate all eternal, ancient, original sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, nunc pro tunc. The principles that we share, along with our sovereign, powerful demonstrations and study, are stare decisis, res judicata, and ancient positive supreme law for the land, long established in sovereign order. Erudite principles and processes that we share, erudite principles and processes for daily practical application to intelligently govern our vast estate every day is what our ancient ancestors have given us to share with the ancient sovereign nations, tribes, clans, states, and governments at earth. And for this, we are grateful. Islam. Okay. We will to go ahead and share our screen right off the bat so that we can go ahead and get started. Our ancestors have given us so much, and for that we're very, very grateful. So the first thing that we will to demonstrate and share is regarding the last 7 years. Regarding the last 7 years. The last 7 years, many of us have been through many, many, many tests. We've been through many tests, many, many, many tests. And those tests, does anyone know the purpose of those tests? In fact, let's go ahead and just open the Congress and discuss that briefly for just a moment. Who will to speak can *6 and unmute themselves so that you can respond regarding what were the last 7 years of testing for? Islam, Justice Earl.
I think it has multiple purposes.
To show that you're a grand failure.
Go ahead, Justice.
And as I begin to think off the top of my head, discipline, structure, prompting you to move or to motivate you into action. The purpose can be to confront your own fears as a part of your ascension and growth. It is a reality check.
Yes.
Along the way. And we could just go down the line, a whole list. So I don't want to repeat or to say something somebody else would already want to say. So I'll just yield and let others speak.
Islam. Thank you. That is just so, we affirm that that's what it was for. Indeed. Anyone else? Islam, Empress Angel. Go ahead. Empress Angel and then Empress Shasha.
Oh, Islam. It was time for you to readjust your sight and your vision. Because sometimes when you're going through something and you reflect and you go back and look at it again, the remedy, the answer is there. You can see clearly. And so that 7 years of going through things, and now we see
your fake bounce
work that we've done and such, that and now we can look back and say, okay, wow, I see why that was done, because now I have to do the remedy. I see why this is done, because now I have the lessons, I have the work that I've done. Now I can apply it in this manner, in this regard. I have now, they say the stripes, the badge of honor, or whatever, the testimony, the award, however you want to state it. I've gone through this, and now I can now say, all right, now I can work from another degree of looking at things and, go in for further,
Yes.
That's
yes. Indeed. We affirm. Anyone else?
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
So, the test was a test of fortitude.
Whew. Yes.
A test of strength. A test. Yes. The test was a journey to meet self.
Ooh.
To know self. It was a test of truth.
Yes.
Mining your own truth, your own self, because over that 7 years, there's growth and change.
Yes.
In you, in myself, or in I, and the tests come in different ways and different forms, but ultimately each of those tests is to test your truth.
Yes.
It is said that after 7 years, every cell in one's body is new.
Ooh.
So going through each test and sloughing off. I mean, they talk about the serpent.
Yes.
Each revolution, that's a skin coming off. That's the carbon turning to diamond over time. It doesn't happen overnight. But can you hang? Can you handle it?
Ooh.
Can you stay to the finish line? It's akin to running a marathon. They say that last mile is the one that tests you.
Yeah.
And so it is the journey of meeting self in all one's raw, naked, beautiful, battered, rebuilt, anew, divine self. I yield.
I absolutely affirm. We affirm, indeed. When you said fortitude, that another word for fortitude is guts. Do you have the guts?
And you know, there's a brain in the gut.
Yes. There's a brain in each and every one of our chakras.
Everyone. In fact, there's a brain in every cell. That's really the truth. The nucleus, the brain is. So, but yes, the guts. Can you stomach it? And that's really the truth of it.
Another word for guts is constitution.
God, constitution.
Yeah. Do you have the constitution to stand even if you might be scared?
Even if you feel sick to your stomach.
We've been there. We've been there.
Hello. Been there. But
we've been there and done it.
And done it. Exactly. And then look at that 7. It is said in the Biblios Helios, is it not, that 6 days the work, and on the 7th.
Yes, rest.
The rest. And really the rest, it's the rest, but the rest is now to come. The rest is yet to come.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. For us, it was 7 years. And for some, it might be 2 years or 4 years or 3 years or 20 years or, for us, it was 7 years. So we, as that this Congress and that we began gathering on this platform. And here we are. We stand.
We stand.
Yes.
What a journey.
Yes, I'm just very excited because we've crossed over already. We've already crossed over. Now, let me just say this about this 7 years. Yes, in the chat, when you have done all to stand, just stand. Just keep standing. That's biblical. Empress Al Rose stated that in the chat. We affirm. We'll open the meeting, the Congress, so that those who will to come in can do so. Let me say this about the last 7 years and what they meant in affirmation and to camelback on to what's been stated already. The last 7 years was our ancestors' way of inoculating us from fear.
Islam.
That was just one of the many inoculations that we've had in the last 7 years. Inoculating us from fear, inoculating us from thoughts that might say we don't have the authority to create money and things of that nature.
Inoculating you from Land Rovers.
And inoculating us from fraud. Inoculating us from
inoculating you from reality.
From hearing others say things, and we knowing that that's not truth. Inoculating us. So this whole time, since the first day that you stated you were a Moor, or you were the subjects of Moors, you've been being vaccinated in your spirit. And that's why the other stuff is not necessary for us. Because we've been getting vaccinated by our ancestors this entire time.
Islam.
The scales are falling off of our eyes. Just one moment, let me get that. The scales for fraud and things of that nature, fallen off of our eyes.
And they're in our arms, in our hands.
Your fucking shit doesn't work, Sasha, you dumb bitch. You fucking
Ooh, they're mad. Big mad, huh?
Oh
mad.
My God. You know, the truth of the matter is the word cunt it goes back to queen and woman and all of those other things. So it's actually quite entertaining. But I did want to add, I looked up, vaccinate comes from vash, cow.
Yes.
Inoculate. So it comes from inoculare in Latin, to graft in, implant a bud or eye of one plant into another. And if we think about the fact that this earth, our earth, is a plant.
Yeah.
And we had forgotten that we were the bouquet.
Indeed.
The wild flowers, the lotuses in the water, the wildflowers on the earth.
Yeah.
And so inoculate makes so much sense. I dug it up because I know what it means, but I'd never dug it up to look for mother. And I saw that, and it makes so much sense.
Yes. And even the word inoculate, the root word is ocula.
Eye.
Which is the eye.
The eye. Which is the eye. Which is the eye. I mean, yes. And I, that sound is yes.
Yes. Yes.
It's I or nay.
Yes.
Typically, So
sailors say I, me. And in Congress says I or nay.
Or nay, don't they? And if you think about it, I thought about that the other day because it popped into my head. Yeah. And I thought about the I. So the I is an I. It is the one. Yeah. Nay is the sound a donkey makes.
That's good, Empress.
See, that is how it bounded into my head. But and if you think about it, and if you think about, as you were stating earlier, with why do they keep coming? Everybody says yes. It's to the Moors. And if you think about it, you're so anyway. Let me yield now. But there, yes,
yeah, indeed. So,
can you hear me? I mean,
yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. I said that the ones that may, if something happens with your sound, you may want to go out and come back in so you can hear, because everyone, you're fine.
Oh,
yeah, we heard you.
All right,
loud and clear.
Okay.
Let me state this also in further affirmation of what has been stated thus far. Justice Atiba, yes, go ahead.
No, I just said I affirm.
Oh, yes.
What the Empress was saying.
Okay,
I'm
yes.
going to come back later because a wisdom I have like to put out there.
Islam, thank you, nobility. We look forward to it. Islam. So the last 7 years were inoculation psychological operations in our favor, of course. It was to groom and to grow fear out of us. It was to put it out of us. This is what has happened. We have been handed everything. Why? Because movement, demonstrations, and action has given us the advantage of not being trapped by fear. Because fear is a cage. It's a cage. There are persons, and this is just the facts. Not everyone is going to be inoculated the way we've been inoculated against fear. Because some will not step past their fear. So they're going to stay trapped. Some are going to do that. No one who's hearing me is going to do that. No one who's hearing is going to do that. We're talking about now we're preparing us to see what's happening. There are persons that are afraid and fearful, and then there's us, the fearless, those that are without fear. We are with great wisdom, and we are without fear. I was in my study listening to some of the things, some of the words that were coming across the broadcast. And I'm going to paraphrase what I heard. Now, these are not my words, but I agree with them because I know what's going on. I see what's happening. Those who are prisoners to their fear. Now, this is what I heard coming across the broadcast. Those who are prisoners to their fear were being encouraged to stop moving, stop thinking, stop working, stop studying, stop producing, stop doing everything they're doing, and go ahead and make a full commitment to being food for the machine. I was like, what? No, we don't do that. Moors don't do that. Moors will never do that. But they were literally being encouraged because someone, the one that was saying this, was agreeing with their statements about themselves. You know, people make statements, oh, I'm not doing that because I'm not doing, because of the programming. They'll say those things. And there are several who are saying, okay, if you're scared, go ahead and sit in the corner and be scared and wait for the machine to come and grind you up. But those of us who've been tested over these since you first started being tested, and you're still here, you're still standing. You've been inoculated. Congratulations. Against fear. We all know that to overcome fear, we were to do the thing that we feared the most. For most of us, myself included, that fear was jail. That was my fear. And even more so than that, it was fake policy enforcers and fake courts. We talked about that in the beginning when I first woke up. I asked the ancestors, I said, okay, I know who we are. I know everything belongs to us. How do we get to it? How do we get past fake courts and fake policy enforcers? Because every time we try to go and be on our land, they come. And the ancestors said, don't worry, we will show you. We're so glad you asked. And the first thing is policy enforcers started pulling us over. We had our Moorish tags, still have them. We had we didn't have our driver's license that we issue ourselves. You know, there were many things that we have now that we didn't have then. We didn't have the lien process then. That was not revealed to us until 2018. There were so many tools that we have now that we did not have, that we were not aware of then. Let me put it that way, because the tools were always there. And the ancestors said, we're going to begin the inoculation process because I asked. They said, let us begin the process with her and him and you and you. Let's begin the inoculation process because they're already showing that they will to access their estate. But you must be inoculated and clean and cleansed before you go onto the land. And so we started getting pulled over regularly. 3 times it happened And on the third time, that was the charm. We had to do a POW demonstration in December of 2017, on December 10th of 2017, which we would not change. We wouldn't change that. Our demonstrations that we did, and we wouldn't change not one of them. Because, see, we were being inoculated even then. We had to get over our fear. So the ancestor said, okay, that seems to be the issue, so let's go ahead and test number one. Come on, clink, pulled over. I stated what I knew to state about us, and they proceeded to write a ticket and present the sovereign heirs with tickets and things. You all know what that's about. We were being inoculated. The ancestor said, okay, now you got to deal with it, and we have just the tools for you. We've been waiting to give you all these tools for centuries, for millennia. We've been waiting to give you these tools, and here you are. So we were given the tools, and then they said, okay, here's another test. Okay, put these tools out there. Oh, you're being tested again. Okay, here's some more tools. Just keep putting the tools out there. No matter what, don't stop using your word. Here's an affidavit that you can use. Here's some words. Here's some language. Here's some things. Things just kept coming out of our spirit. And you all know, I'm telling your story too. I know that. So we just kept going. We found ourselves in some places and situations and tests that we were like, this is the place I didn't want to come to. But then we started speaking, and as soon as we opened our mouth, because it was our will to just be ourselves, we were never going to give in and be dead and debt slaves. We were never going to be that. So, yes, Empress Alrose says there is no testimony without the test. Oh, indeed, we are testamenting and testimonying right now. See, some may stop moving, and we've seen where some are trying to regress. They keep reaching for what was. Just a moment, let me put the fraud out of here. I thought I put that out here at least once. Someone attempting to be mean. Let me just put that out of here. There you go. You're out. So some may stop moving because of the testing, because they don't want to be tested. And we're not judging. We get that we've heard more state that they're never going to do this type of test or that type of test, or go here or go there. They're never going to do that. And that's spoken out of fear. Of course, it is spoken out of fear. And that's usually the first place that the ancestors say, well, let's put them in that situation and see how they respond. That might sound cruel to some, but it's not. It's not cruel. It's to show you your own strength. It's to show us all our own strength. But see, the thing is, our ancestors just will that we keep moving. You might feel like you're moving a little slower. Some people, we felt like we jumped in with both feet and hit the ground running, because we were tested. Within 5 months, we were tested. Within the first 5 months, we received many tests, actually. And through the testing, even after that first POW demonstration, our family members, the ones who love us, our kin, were saying, maybe you got into that too quickly. Maybe that wasn't this, and maybe it wasn't that.
Islam,
Empress.
if I may.
Yes.
I had the pleasure of listening to the interview of Cat Williams.
Yes.
And might I say, he was sitting there, and I likened it to a fine glass of Chardonnay.
Yeah.
How he sat there and he spoke. And it's like he was swirling with his statements, his pausing. The wine was just swirling.
Yeah.
And you get the fragrance and it hits your senses.
Yeah.
And by the time he spoke, you're sipping.
Yeah.
And then it hits your taste buds and your palate.
Yeah.
And it was just smooth.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's no but on that one.
He was thoughtful. He was very thoughtful. He thought about everything.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Like just swirling that glass. And so he mentioned later on, because I just about finished the interview, they was discussing the pyramids. And he said how throughout time, all stories are the same.
Yes.
They are a testament. And then he went and said about the pyramid. He said that is a planetary monument.
Yeah.
So when we think and we go through our testimonies and things, those are our own monuments. That is your own monument of looking and seeing what you've achieved. Because even through those tests, those are achievements.
Yeah.
Because you have come to the other side.
Yeah.
So that is just another way of looking at it as far as the testimony. Those are achievements. Now you can take those achievements and now build upon those, because the planetary monument, as the pyramid is, it has purpose. It has function, and it's a beautiful thing to look at. But it gives energy. It gives ways of reading it, because there was hieroglyphics on there. It's just so much that you can glean from that planetary monument that our ancient ancestors put there on this planet right here. And those are also enlightening into our testimonies, our trials, our tribulations. Those are monuments that the ancestors show us.
Yeah.
And they show us lessons through those, our own people monuments. Because when you understand that whole process, they are showing you things like, okay, that is a marker.
Yes.
It's a monument. And you can look, reflect, and say, okay, it is well, because I learned, I gleaned, I see, I reflect, and now I can go back and now somehow use that to my good.
Yeah.
Those
things, the monuments, all they are is truth. That we've been here. That we've been here. Hieroglyphics, truth, that we've been here. And so, having said that, the ones who built those monuments, we are.
Angel sucks Pauline's dick so good.
We are.
Yeah, it's true.
We are our ancestors' return. We built those.
Islam.
We built them. We did that. We drew the hieroglyphics. Islam Empress.
And cameling on, affirming
Yeah.
all that you state. Pyramid, the fire in the middle.
Yes.
The gut.
Yes.
We are the pyramid. We have the fire in the middle. We have the guts. We stand.
They are a reflection of us.
Exactly.
So who in the heck doesn't recognize us? Come on.
Hello.
The ones that rejected your chant.
Really?
The ones making noise.
Right, and they recognize us or they wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
Doing all that chit chat. All that la la, that yang yang, that yan lap. That's what we used to call it back in the day.
Bangarang over.
Yes. Yeah. We love them just so that they are aware we love them. And we know that they're worshiping and praising, and that's their way of doing that. We know that. And we accept their offering of praise and worship. Islam. So this whole fear thing and us continuing to move, because see, that's the real key, everyone. The only thing that doesn't move is something that's dead. It doesn't move. The evidence of life is movement. It's movement unless you're a zombie. But even when you look at zombies, there are certain parts of zombies that didn't move in the movies. You know, when you see zombies in the movies, their eyes don't move, their arms, and nothing moves until the living come around, and they want to eat off the living, you know. And so we have a choice in the matter. We all have a choice in the matter, and I'm so grateful that everyone who hears this Congress has made the right choice already. Just feel good about that, because you already made the right choice, or you wouldn't be listening to this. Everyone has a choice. You can demonstrate who you are, or you can be fodder for the machine. You can just be fodder. Well, none of us have made that decision. We've already decided that we're going to keep moving, and that's what we're so excited about. We're not trapped by fear. Never trapped by fear. So those who break the cycle of fear through inoculation, like we've been doing, we've been inoculated. And here, listen, the process that we're going to speak about today, the only ones that won't get it and won't do it is the fearful. Everyone has a place and a choice, and you're going to be one or the other. We already know who we are. We already know who we are. So it has taken to this day and to this moment a breaking of the cycle of fear. That's what these tests were all about. And that breaking of the cycle of fear has made it so that we can capitalize on everything that those who are trapped by fear won't be able to capitalize on. Are we celebrating that they won't be able to do that? No, but we know that that's a part of this.
You're delusional.
Had we not chosen to keep going no matter what, we might be one who decided that we just were going to quit and go back to the old. But the old is not there. That's the issue they're going to have, is the old is not there. We've already abolished it. So either way, they're being rounded up. The fearful are being rounded up so that they can get out of the fear. They have to get out of the fear. So Islam, Empress. Islam.
My Grand Governor, Grand Temple #1 in Indianapolis, Indiana, he is restating all the information of the temple here in Indiana. Allah for that the whole temple will be saved out of the crazy mirror.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we look forward to hearing that.
I was working. I wasn't ignoring. I was working, listening, and working on it. And I'm like a kid. He said when we did our beautiful embracing. He said your body is real hot. I said yes. This energy I have, it can explode.
Yes, indeed. Oh, my soul is just. Thank you for letting us know, Empress.
Yes.
We look forward to this moment.
Yes, for the temples.
The temple specifically.
Already have this government set up for when we all come to a light, we be ready be in the government already.
Yes.
We can recognize that our religion is about our government.
Yes.
And it's all in the trust. Why is it was hidden? I don't know. But it's time. You always say that it's our time to ride.
Oh, I'm so grateful to hear that. I am going to celebrate.
Yes.
And please,
he walked out with the document today.
Please.
I said, we don't go to the windows. We royalty, hun. We recognize on that paper, write it on the wall. That's what we do it. Yes.
Oh, that's the access. It's our words are the access to the estate.
Yes. Yes.
I'm so grateful.
Empress, thank you. Family, for being here and giving me confidence and the power to do such a thing, because there's something going through that wall when we have our religion so deep.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
And that's, by the way, that's Empress Sheila Burris L., isn't it? Just so that, we're just Empress. You have made my whole year with that one piece right there, because that was one of our goals, but we knew we couldn't force the temples to do anything, because you can't force sovereigns to do anything.
No, I just said we got to do a workshop on a trust. And I got it in. Workshop on the trust. I didn't talk about the DeLoreans or anything. And I said this is where I saw a DeLorean is old. I have to tell you, it's old as Methuselah, and it's written in Old English. Yes.
And you know what? We didn't even know that when the ancestors told us to call it that.
Yes.
And
it's on there too. Matter of fact, we would change it. Our next one, we should change it to exactly in that Old English of how the certificate has been printed out.
Ooh,
it's beautiful, and it's how to say the trillion. It's beautiful how to say it out your mouth. It's beautiful. The 1 trillion for each one of us. Yes, it already was in the ethers.
Yeah. You know, I'm so grateful. I have no words for that, Empress, but thank you.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Empress Sheila. Oh, wow. That is amazing.
All my family all over the world are Moors. We hear. And we tell all the ones that are on this call that comes in that we love them too. They can get theirs too. Just calm down. Everything gonna be all right.
Yeah. Islam.
Islam.
Wow. That is. It took. My mind is expanded. I would say it's blown, but you can't blow a mind of sovereigns. You can't blow our minds, but you sure can expand it really quickly. Oh, wow.
Gratitude, Empress, Islam.
Oh, wow. The restatement piece is it's in the circle 7.
Islam, I affirm Islam.
It's in the books. It's in all the holy books. It's in the biblios that we're supposed to be writing the law.
Yes. Islam.
and we don't have to, like our Grand Sheikh Todd says, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's already there. Just restate it.
Correct.
Bring it back up to the level of state. Empire.
Yes.
Now, I'm so glad you brought that up, Empress, because listen, what we're doing today is that.
Yeah.
Nationalizing some things. Yeah. We're going to nationalize a resource today, and we talked about this resource the whole time, but we're going to nationalize it today and start using it next week.
Yes.
By restating it, Empress. This is so good. I just love it. So this is why we could not stop. Because this is the point. This point that we're at right now, oh, wow, you're talking about the estate coming hand over fist. So everyone has a place and a choice. We have a choice. We've made our choice. Everyone who's hearing me has already made the choice. Everyone who's speaking has already made the choice. And so what the great Grand Governor is doing at temple number, you said temple 13 or temple 1? Empress, which temple? Temple 1.
Yes.
So let's just go ahead and heap some worship and praise on that activity. What he has chosen to do is break the cycle and write and restate and state the law for the temples. And listen, when one Grand Governor does that, it applies to all.
Yes. We all get to sign. Yes.
It's all my affair.
Yes, we all get to sign. All of the members. We all get to sign. And all do it at once.
We get it. We feel it. Islam.
Feel free to add our appellations. We add our affirmations to his writings, even as we speak.
Yes.
Islam.
And it's you. It's your name, Empress, that's there with the light. Say, there's the light. See the light.
Oh, we've been waiting on this day. We've been waiting on that.
Not by accident.
Islam.
Not by accident.
It's not by accident at all. Oh, wow. See, that's what I'm saying. The ones who have chosen to capitalize on the processes that those who are fearful and afraid to do it, that's okay. We got you. We'll do it. It'll get done. See, that's the thing. That's what our ancestors are saying. When they give us an instruction and say, okay, because see, these are the ancestors' hands, all of us. We all have our ancestors' hands, feet, mouths, brain, consciousness, bodies, all of that. When they say, hey, go do this or go do that, even if we chose not to do it, somebody else is going to do it who has the bloodline and birthright. Somebody's going to do it because everything is going to get done. Will we be the vessel, the holy vessel that says, yes, I'll do it? Islam nobility.
If you could expand on that narrative, must have been some previous exchanges about this matter. Do you mind?
Which part, nobility?
What the Sister Empress has brought forward from that has created such a joy in you, even more.
So the Moorish Science Temples of America are restating the document.
Yes, to the states, and it all that black and all that, not showing that we have our own currency. All of that needs to be restated. All of that. We're the controller. We're the post. That's too the temple. Yes.
Yes. The temple is the post office. The temple is the bank.
Yes.
Come on now.
Yes.
Always has been. But it has to be stated by the Moors. It has to be stated by the temples.
Yes.
Islam taking our rightful places.
That's it. That's
Islam.
Islam.
Was it forward
I'm sorry.
and rising?
Yes. This is the Grand Rising.
That is the grand.
It's our ministry.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel.
Islam. No defeating Islam. Yes, indeed.
So, was it mentioned earlier, I hope it was, that when Prophet Noble Drew Ali set up everything that he set up, the Vatican turned around and did a Me Too filing? Was that mentioned?
It was not mentioned, but in this Congress, we mentioned it previously that in 1925, they went to Chicago, to Mecca, and did that.
Yes, and that's what they did. They did a Me Too filing because his ecclesiastical jurisdiction was superior, and they did a counterfeit on the land, well, in their artificial world, to counteract what he put in place, because the land was coming back to us back then, even though we weren't ready for it. It would have been, so they gave us more time, okay? But, I mean, they didn't give it to us. The ancestors did. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But the fact that they did that shows the significance of what they did, of what the prophet did. And then they turned around and tried to do a Me Too. So that shows that if the temple now is recognizing what we've done, we're all getting back onto the same page, out of the same, and that is wonderful. That is a good thing. Islam.
My spirit is
and
just
we can go back into trust with one another.
Yes, that's what this
That's
is
what
about.
The Prophet wrote, yes, the trust, the 10:10. Yes, Islam.
Think about this, Morris. See, the Prophet was trying to do what he was trying to wake everybody up. But it was the fiat piece that had to be remedied. That fiat piece had to be remedied with a strategy by the Moors. It couldn't be remedied by anyone but the Moors. And what happened was they began to bleed the temples out financially because the temples had started using fiat and not their own money back in the early 1900s, after 1871, the incorporation of things started being enacted all over the place. And the Moors, the prophet, when he did the old Canaanite temple, he was trying to tell them, don't incorporate with those people. Do not incorporate with that fraud. But the people weren't hearing it. So he then followed suit with an 805 document that he put on a public record. And the people were not listening.
Islam.
And so he just kept going and going. And by the time, because see, we, the people, must agree. If one of us is the only one doing something, no, the people have to agree. It's still done for that one who does it. If I was the only one using delirium, the universe would honor that for me. But everybody else would still be using fiat. You see what I'm saying? So, but now that we're in trust with one another, everybody can use whatever we say, whatever we all agree on. Whatever we all agree on. More sovereign delirium.
Fiat is truly alive and well.
Okay. We've all agreed on more sovereign delirium and gold and silver. We agreed on that since ancient times. So now, we made an agreement about a year ago.
Then why doesn't everybody try to?
We made an agreement a year ago on fiduciary money because there is a...
Use it in the real world and...
There is a species issue that we have remedied. There's a species issue that we have remedied. So now we've broken the cycle of fear through inoculation of us by testing, and we're capitalizing on those things that need to be capitalized, and we're restating everything, everything. So,
and yet it still
there are many who are about to go through inoculation by testing. Okay, and again, when we say inoculation, we just mean they're going to be tested on who they are. So we're putting processes in place, legal processes in place. And when we say legal, we mean legal according to lawful legal and not anything other than that.
Where's your sea salt factory? Where's your sea salt factory?
So, now, that has been the purpose of more sovereign delirium gold receipts. Congress on every Thursday and Sunday. Us agreeing, us voting, us coming together and unifying, us being in trust.
Bouncing fraudulent.
And putting everything else in trust. And then putting everything else in trust. All land, all natural resources, and all commerce. So now, we are the remedy for everything that's been going on because of the testing that we've been through. Because now we're fearless to do the things that we're even going to show today. Fearless to do them. because it's the law. It's the law for the land. So now, every person that we're watching and seeing, and you all, if you have seen this, just let us know within Islam that you've seen this. Many people and many persons on social media are saying the same thing about quote unquote accounts being closed, GoFundMe being shut down, YouTube demonetizing, PayPal shut down, WhatsApp shut down, Cash App shut down, credit cards shut down, ATM shut down, things just being shut down. Are you all hearing that same thing from the enactments on social media?
Islam. AT&T going down, all the systems went down in India.
Islam, I affirm, yes.
Bank of America.
Islam, I affirm, yes.
Yes.
Islam, I affirm.
So let me say this about that. We have already crossed over, and it is actually reaping time for us to reap the harvest of what's happening.
All of those platforms are actually alive and well. They're alive and well.
Look. They're alive and well for us. That's why we're here. And I'm speaking to the Moors. All of those platforms are alive and well for our use, but this is how we do it. There's a plot, there's a strategy, a plan, a process to access those platforms, so that, because see, those platforms are nothing more than a system. So let us move forward.
The system rejected your check and everything else. You haven't been able to use it.
So now, on August 11th, 2022, this Congress introduced, presented, voted on, and approved the worldwide use of public fiduciary funds on August 11th of 2022. That's been over a year ago. The title of that Congress is Fiduciary Money Approved in Bankruptcy Court, Fiduciary Liquidation in Process. We had to put that on the public record. And again, we're moving in stages and phases of everything that we're doing. Moorish sovereign dollarium is our national money. As we move to 100% usage of Moorish sovereign dollarium, we're doing the same thing that in the story, in the anthropomorphic story of the quote-unquote children of Israel. We're not children. We're not even claiming to be that. We are the age for majority. But what they did was they were able to take on their way out all of the gold, as much as they could carry on their way out, to everything, whatever it is that they willed, whatever they saw, they were able to take it with them as they moved to the promised land from where they were. Fiduciary funds is how that happens. Starting March 22nd, which is next week on Monday, of our 2024. And this is, again, transitioning the system to more sovereign dollarium and gold and silver. Let's just talk about this for just a moment. So as of March 11, 2024, in alignment and in accordance with the law, this is the law, because we stated that it was the law, we will begin using our fiduciary funds to furnish the opening of our businesses and to begin lawful and legal gold and silver commerce by building up factories, manufacturing, commerce, mercantilism, government here on the land. We are creating commercial viability for gold, silver, and Moorish sovereign dollarium gold receipts by printing our own fiduciary money. fiduciary funds, which we're going to look at that. We're going to erudite and exegete that today. During this time, beginning March 11th, which is next week on Monday, we will be using printing and using public fiduciary funds. These are public funds. That means anyone can use them. However, March 11th, the Moors use them first because we're opening the door. And then on April 8th is when the citizen subjects will begin using them as they receive them from the system. The subjects are going to be very important at this time because we, the Moors, are going to feed the system these public fiduciary funds. And as we feed the public fiduciary funds to the system is going to circulate the funds to the citizen subjects. And when they start receiving that back from banks, from grocery stores, from other places, wherever they receive funds from, they're going to start seeing fiduciary funds come through. That this is going to be, it's not a test for our system because we know our system works. It is a transition. Okay, so as we put the fiduciary funds in the system starting next week, subjects don't have to do anything but just keep doing what they've been doing. Subjects have been going to ATMs, getting things out, or saving gold and silver. They've been prepping, but they've still been, doing things system-wide. So, Moors, this means that we're going to use fiduciary funds for conveyances, domiciles, whatever else, food, groceries, whatever. We're going to use fiduciary funds for that, public fiduciary funds. The citizen subjects will receive the public fiduciary funds from the same system that has given them funds up to now. This is strategic because the citizen subjects will be able to tell us when and where they receive the funds so that we will know how fast the circulation process is taking. This means that we, the government, will be printing a lot of funds and putting those funds into the system. Yes, you can buy gold and silver with fiduciary funds, public fiduciary funds. So you could take these funds to any shop and buy gold and silver with them. A lot of those shops have been shut down, quote unquote, by banks to the fraudulent U.S. debt notes. A lot of those shops, they said, no, we're not. You can't bank anymore because you're doing gold and silver. There's a reason for that. That's so that we could come in and pull that, okay, using the method that we're speaking of today, that we're placing on the public record yet again today. So all workers, okay, and now, right now we're talking about the system and the way the system of fiduciary funds works. Because before we put our Morris sovereign delarium into the system, fiduciary funds is going to test that system. All workers must be properly identified. Everyone receiving funds must also be properly identified. This is the way that even those who may not have properly identified themselves, if they accept the money, which they will because that's the only place they can get money from is the system. When they accept the money, it's going to automatically change them, their status. The same way the fiat, when we were using fiat, we were saying we're Moors, but we kept using fiat, and then they were like, well, we don't care what you say, we care what you do. So now, the brilliance of what our ancestors have given us regarding fiat, public fiduciary funds, is that public fiduciary funds looks a lot like U.S. debt notes. It looks a lot like it, but it's not it because it's going to have a wet ink signature on it. This is the transitioning time. Fiduciary funds are the intermediary between the previously enacted U.S. fiat debt notes and the gold, silver, and Morris sovereign delarium gold receipt commerce. So let us show you, because we have placed notification on the public record in many different ways. We're going to show you and make that available to you the notifications that we placed on the public record regarding fiduciary funds. We've already let everybody know that next week on March 11th, we're going to start using fiduciary funds. Justice Howard, are you present? Is Justice Howard present? Hopefully I'm not putting Justice Howard on the spot.
He was having difficulty. He's at the restaurant he's at. The server is very spotty. Okay. So he's been having trouble getting in, but he was attempting very hard to get in.
Okay. I will, to unlock the meeting so that those who will to come in can come in. In the last Congress, he mentioned that he used fiduciary funds last year when we first introduced the process. And we were just going to ask him how that went, how that demonstration went. We appreciate, we know that what we're doing works. We know that already. What we're doing now is just en masse enacting, en masse demonstrating the things that we already know works. So with the printing and circulation of fiduciary funds, we are using the same strategy that was used in 1933 and 1971. It's the same strategy. Because what they did was they changed the look of the quote-unquote greenbacks. They changed the look of it and then issued it out. And the only time we knew that something had changed is when we received it and it looked different. We went into the grocery stores or wherever, and we gave the old, and when we gave the old, the change that we got back was changed.
Islam, they did it in the 70s as well.
Yes, in 1971, right after that, that's exactly what we're referring to here on the screen in 1933 and 1971. Every time the jurisdiction changed, they made that stuff change. So real funds are real because of where they come from and because of the process that we use. Okay, so that's why we stated to use magnetic ink for your fiduciary money that you print out. The instruments. The magnetic ink gives our instruments a three-dimensional recognition by the system. Now, again, if you don't have magnetic ink and you feel that you can't get any, which we know you can, you must demonstrate anyway, because, again, that old system is shut down. Those who used to get groceries with their bank accounts will not be able to do that. Quote unquote bank accounts. Not yet, because all of that stuff has to be shut down. That's the purpose of our ability to create fiduciary funds. Those who have access to magnetic ink, and you can get it anywhere, Amazon, everywhere. There's a spiritual component regarding the magnetic ink as well. And we're going to explain that briefly. Because, see, anything that's printed, and let's say you're not using magnetic ink, if it's not a living document, for example, those who were printing, enacting printing fiat, for a while they were using magnetic ink. For a while,
the bank rejected your deposit.
They were using magnetic ink for a while. But then it became too expensive.
That you promised.
It became too expensive for them to use magnetic ink, and they were like, people aren't going to know the difference anyway because they're not going to know the difference. It became too expensive. So then they started just flat printing things. And when they started when they started flat printing things, that's when the other actors that were acting as nations noticed that their systems were not responding to what they were being given, to the fiat that they were being given in the last enactment. Yes, indeed. Islam. So they stopped using magnetic ink probably in the 70s, but no one knew except others who were in on the scheme. And so let me just explain the spiritual and universal aspect of the magnetic ink piece, because see, ink matters. It matters. Islam. Others are coming in as well.
You still lack a conveyance and cell service? Nothing works.
He's a loser, always a loser, Pauline. You're never going to get your shit.
The magnetic ink. There are some Moors who shared information
She's a grand failure, don't you guys realize?
About an electromagnetic dome over the earth. Has anyone heard? Has anyone heard that information about an electromagnetic dome over the earth?
Islam. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And we are electromagnetic beings also.
Yes.
Islam.
Islam. Dr. Phil Valentine mentioned it. Islam.
Yes. So now, in the previous enactment, those who were using magnetic instruments were programming the frequency of that dome.
Kansu is your voice.
Okay.
Kansu is your voice.
Those who were printing things using magnetic ink were putting that energy out there into the atmosphere, and that dome was responding to that frequency. Well, when we started speaking, we obliterated that dome. That's why people were talking about, the atmosphere of the earth changing, and people were trying to get out, and people were trying to, send their little rockets to the moon trying to get out of that dome, because they knew that once we started speaking, that dome was going to disintegrate into nothing.
Only in your delusional make-believe land.
It did. It disintegrated into nothing. That's why you started seeing weather phenomena and things of that nature. When we started speaking, we started putting the proper frequency over the earth. Because remember, we stated that your words are energy that you put out, and it's causing things to move and things to be created and things to manifest. We removed the previous electromagnetic dome and created a new one around the earth that matches and aligns with the magnetic ink for our documents and our money instruments. That is why they can't be rebutted, because we already started that. And all it took was one of us to start it, and it was going to apply for everyone.
Rejected deposits?
Islam. And so when we sent the electromagnetic check through the system recognized it because it's properly done. The process is legal. That's why there were no ramifications to that process. No one could come to the door and say, hey, we heard you were doing fraud. We have a warrant for your arrest. They can't say that. No one can do that. Because our frequency created the document. We just put it through as a test to see, would the system recognize what we're doing? And the system recognized it. We proved that. In fact, let us just show that once more, because I believe we have it here on this. Here it is right here. This is the proof that the system processed, recognized, and processed what we did. We wrote a check for $27,775.75, and the balance did what it was supposed to do. Everything worked. That was our test.
Show the live account.
Into the system. So when we did that, that was showing everyone, the subjects, the system itself, because see, really it's a system that we're dealing with. The system said, oh, we have a living document here. Everything dead has to go away when the living shows up. So now that we've proven.
That's a fake.
Now that we've proven, and we showed you, we signed on and showed you where that was proven. Now that we've proven that our process works, we were also programming the electromagnetic frequency of the system when we did that. That is why it was so easy for us to change the wording in the system to more sovereign delarium gold receipts, because all of the documentation that we sent prior to that were living documents. Not one of those documents had a sinkhole in it where they could run through the sinkhole and sink the document, because documents are ships. Did you know that? They're ships. They are also persons. All documents have a head, a body, and a foot. The footer of your document and the head of your documents and the body of your documents is a person. It's almost as if you showed up. When you're in your proper person, which we all are at all times, nunc pro tunc, that is a special appearance. So now that the printing of our words, the frequency is raised to the highest frequency available. The printing of our words using magnetic ink places the highest frequency on the words and also attracts and aligns with the highest frequencies and vibrations in the heavenlies. And when that happens, the systems and everything at earth responds. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. Because it's a spell. That's why we repeat things 3 times. So now, let's get back to what we're doing. Proper terminology for fiduciary funds it's coming from a living fund, a trust. Like Empress Nabi stated earlier, a trust. Proper terminology for fiduciary funds. Fund is a noun. Now, Black's Law Dictionary 4th edition is where this came from. They have 2 definitions for funds. One is a verb and the other is a noun. But for some reason, when I went there, the word fund was there and it had a space where the part of speech was. So I just put it in there because it's a noun. And I could have written the whole word out, but again, it's what we state that it is. Fund, a generic term and all-embracing as compared with the term money, which is specific. So our money is more sovereign delarium. Our fiduciary funds is public funds. Fund, a sum of money set apart for a specific purpose or available for the payment of either debts or claims. And in our case, we know we don't have any debts. So now, when we use our fiduciary funds, it's a claim on whatever it is we're exchanging it for. It's a claim. No other quote-unquote court or quote-unquote actor acting as a judge could ever manifest our claims. We had to do that. No one could do that for us. They only used our energy in the enactment to manifest the claim for them. Fund, this is the definition, monies and much more, such as notes, bills, checks, drafts, stocks, and bonds, and in broader meaning may include property of any kind. So a fund and a trust is the same thing. A fund is actually property of every kind. Every kind. Fund, money in hand. Assets, cash. Money available for the payment of legacy. Because again, we don't have debt. Legacy. That is where legacy accounts come in at, which is what we've created. But again, you must let the system know that you have a legacy account, or that you are the subject of the ones who have legacy accounts. Corporate stocks or government securities. So the public fiduciary money that we're showing you today, that we showed you a year ago, that we voted on a year and a half ago, is what we're speaking about right now. Assets, securities, bonds, or revenue of a state or government appropriated for the discharge of debts. And again, we don't have debt. It's the grocery stores, quote unquote, that have the debt. It's the employees that have the debt. It's the car dealerships, quote unquote, that have the debt. So we are alleviating and discharging their debt by going out and using fiduciary money to buy conveyances, domiciles, and everything else. Food, whatever else. Whatever we choose to buy it on, use it for. And then as we make that change, the system will respond. And then Moors who are starting gold and silver businesses, they'll be able to take their Moorish sovereign dollarium to the bank and deposit it as you receive it from us. So what we're doing is strategically governing the banking system by our processes, legal processes. Justice Howard used fiduciary money a year ago. Assets, securities, bonds, revenue. What did we say about that word, revenue? That means put it in the right venue. Venues are courts. That's what a venue is. A venue is a court. I don't care what kind of venue it is, it's still a court. And so under the term funds in Black's Law Dictionary, there were some other terms that were emphasized, such as current funds. Current money, whatever, just one moment, let me go back to that. It says current funds, whatever is receivable and current by law as money. That's what public fiduciary money is. Public funds, an untechnical name. Untechnical means it's not defined until the Moors define that name and what it means. The revenue of money of a government or a state or a municipal corporation. And they put that in there because they were pretending to be municipal corporations, knowing that they are not government and they are not state from the last era. And when we say they, we're talking about the actors from the last era, from the previous era. Public funds, the bonds, stocks, or other securities of a national or state government. Public fiduciary funds, you're looking at the definition as we stated. Money warrants or bonds, or other paper having a money value and belonging to the state or to any county, city, and they say incorporated town or school district, we say town or school district. And it can be incorporated as long as it's incorporated under our living United States for America. And for those talking about political status, the term applies to funds of every political subdivision of state wherein taxes are levied for public purposes. And again, we're not taxed. That's why we're doing this. We know that the quote-unquote actors from the last era that were acting as government and were acting as the state and the bank and so on and so forth, we know that that was a ship out at sea. And they were stating that we were not stating, because they can't state anything. They were enacting that we were lost at sea on their ship. That we got on their ship and the ship capsized. Think about the word capsized. That's a capitalism term. The ship capsized. We were all supposedly decapitated and lost at sea. That's why they mute you when you go into a fake court, is because you're supposed to be lost at sea. Somebody else is supposed to be speaking for you. So then they enacted that there were these bunch of orphans on the land. Orphans on the land. That they had to be the nanny state of Islam. We rebut that. We are the majority and we're here. So we know it was a ship, and again, this is in Black's Law 4th edition online. It's called a sinking fund. What is a sinking fund? Because see, what we're doing is part of that too, to sink that thing on down. The aggregate of sums of money as those arising from particular taxes and sources of revenue. The Congress is open, Islam. Yes, Noble Phoenix says, lost at sea, you in your citizenship with their banner flying, Islam, indeed. In the enactment, yes. And so what we're doing is going ahead and sinking the rest of that with what we're doing. It says the aggregate of sums of money as those...
Why don't you enact trying to get a Land Rover?
Islam.
Or enact trying to get a cell phone.
Set apart and invested, usually at fixed intervals.
Or enact getting a sea salt plant.
Just a moment. Set apart and invested, usually at fixed intervals, for the extinguishment of the debt. And again, we don't have debt, so it's a claim. For us, it's a claim of a government or corporation. Not both, one or the other. Not both. By the accumulation of interest. Well, we know that when we restated the Sesta QV Trust, when we restated that, it talked about the interest being vested back in.
Why do you pay a mortgage then, Paul?
Here, more. Ooh, they make it easy for me to boot them when they start trying to speak. It says here, a fund arising. So there's a rising and there's a sinking. When one rises, the other sinks. A fund arising from particular tax, imposts, or duties which are appropriated towards the payment of the interest due on a public loan or for the gradual payment of the principal. They owe. So we'll just say, okay, this is how you pay. Is we print and use our fiduciary money, and that will help get you out of debt to us. sinking fund, and for us it's a rising fund. A fund created for extinguishing or paying a funded debt. Sinking fund tax. A tax raised to be applied to the payment of interest on and principal of public loan. So we know that there was in the previous era's enactment a fiscal services debt, public debt something or other. There was something that was doing business as the something for the public debt, Department for the Public Debt, or something of that nature. We know we don't have any debt. This rising fund of public fiduciary funds is to right the ship. And when I say right the ship, our ship is already right. It was created right. All we're doing is continuing to go. Our ship started, it was built on the land. Okay? We have the proof of that. All of our documents in red and all lowercase letters, that's land speak. That's land language. The time is fast approaching, and listen, don't let what I'm about to say scare you. Don't let it scare you. We've already done it. Don't let it scare you, okay? Because it won't happen for you until you're ready. The time is fast. Yes, that was it, Empress Shasha, Bureau of the Public Debt. Well, the public wasn't supposed to have a debt because they have a treasury. So all we're doing is demonstrating the treasury. And again, don't let this scare you because it won't happen for you until you're ready. The time is fast approaching for the Moors to provoke the closing or invoke the closing of the previous quote unquote bank accounts so that they can access their true inheritance, because you have to have one or the other, which is the ability to originate and print money as we have stated. Okay, so the use of fiduciary money is for those who don't have, quote unquote, what you thought was a bank account, because really you're the bank. Okay, now the moment that we did our test for that account, the test worked, we saw that it worked, we had the right process, and that's been the case with everything that we do. Even when we did our POW demonstrations, the actors could not continue holding us because we demonstrated court properly. So the time is fast approaching, and the system is already doing it. There are some Moors whose their accounts were closed when they first demonstrated their status, their quote unquote accounts. But because that's not a real account, we have the real accounts. We are the real accounts. Indeed, Noble Phoenix, what you stated in the chat. The time is fast approaching to provoke the closing of these actors, so that we all can access our true inheritance, which we have done that. We demonstrated that. Due to, and this is notification, due to universal sunset laws, the presumed previous quote unquote bank accounts will close anyway. No one is going to have one open by the time everything is said and done. How much time will that take? It could be 2 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 7 years. We don't know how long, and I can't say we don't know because it's based on our actions. We do know. As we continue to rise, that is why Cash App and WhatsApp and all of those apps are closing, because they were just acting that out, because we're the real bank. All of that stuff is starting to close for everyone. because of our competence at money and commerce and mercantilism and law and that which is legal. See, that stuff before wasn't real in the first place. So now, we will place in the chat the link to the documents that we're about to show you, that we've already sent them out and posted them on the public record and all of that. That's the link to the documents that we're about to show you. Just one moment. Okay. Let's see. So these are the documents on the screen. Let me make sure they're on there. These are the documents that we placed on the public record regarding fiduciary money. And again, this is in alignment with what we voted on years ago, what we spoke about. We showed you what it looked like and everything. Even according to unum sanctum, there has to be an intermediary or a transitionary period between the living and the dead. There's a transitionary period and transitionary activities and demonstrations. Fiduciary money is that intermediary. So it is proper strategy, proper allocation. We're letting them know that the land belongs to us, and they know that already. Again, even when we put fiduciary money on the public record and voted on it, as you will notice, the videos and all the things that we've done are still up. Because no one's rebutting what we're stating. They're going to stay up for as long as we say. No one's rebutting what we're stating. Okay? And so it was our will that everyone have access to the system so that no one suffers. Okay? It was our will that everyone have access to the system so that no one suffers during this transition.
Islam,
Empress.
The links you put in there, I keep linking it, but it keeps bringing me back to my own Google Drive. So
okay.
I don't have...
Okay, thank you for that, Empress. I was wondering that if you...
I did the same.
Okay. Thank you, Nobility. So...
Islam, the same here.
Okay. So we will show you how to get to that. It's the same way we've been getting to everything that we do. If you go to our Light Tajiri Bay on YouTube page, here, let's go there. YouTube. If you go there, and if you click on any of the videos that you see, I'll just click on this one. Click on the video, go underneath the video, and pull up this link that says links to documents that we've been going to regularly anyway. If you click on that, those documents will show up at the bottom of the page. Let's see. Let me just make sure that they show up. And if someone could go ahead and do that so that we can, yeah, they should show up at the bottom of that list, the first list that you see. The fiduciary documents will show up. It'll say fiduciary money affidavit, and it has things like Office Depot, Albertsons, Walmart, Safeway, Costco, Winco, Fred Meyer, etc. Down at the bottom of the list, or for some it may be the top, depending on how you have your Google Drive set up.
Islam, can you please open the meeting up for one of the Moors trying to get in, one of our empresses? And also, I apologize. Could you tell me again, what did you just say we need to do in order to get to these videos? Somebody came and distracted me, and I couldn't hear what you said.
It's not videos. It's documents that we placed on the public record. Just go to any of our videos at Light Tajiri Bay channel.
Okay.
And it's linked under there in those same links we've been using.
Right.
I just put them in there with here is the link. It'll say links to documents.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It says scripted in our national language, but these are scripted in our commercial or merchant English, which looks like corporate English.
Islam, I affirm, I see them, and they're dated from March 6th.
Yes, indeed.
Files.
Which March 6th was the day after not Cinco de Mayo, the Ides of March. The Ides of March is March 5th, which is March 5th is actually a holy day for us, a high holy day for us. We'll talk about that. You can look up the Ides of March and see what that says about the Ides of March. We were the winners in that one. So when you look at these documents, here, let's go ahead and open one for, let's say, Office Depot. We'll open that one up so you can see it. Wait a minute. Oops, I clicked the wrong one. That's the one for, let's see. Office Depot here. Okay, so this is the one for Office Depot, Office Max, and here's what it says. It says, in honor of the people of the United States, Office Depot and Office Max have begun receiving United States fiduciary money, currency, vouchers, banknotes, and checks according to public law and the United States courts. Because again, we did bankruptcy court. That's where fiduciary money came in at, and that was the ruling by Congress. United States fiduciary instruments are variously nominated in.
You're such a fucking phony, Polly. None of that shit is.
And equal. Just one moment. It says.
It don't work, bitch. It don't.
Okay. United States, let's see, in honor of
grand failure.
In honor of the people of the United States, Office Depot and Office Max have begun receiving United States fiduciary money, currency, vouchers, banknotes, and checks. And that's according to even the definition of funds that we just read. According to public law and the United States court, United States fiduciary instruments are variously nominated and equally value United States dollars. And again, we're talking about the United States dollars for our United States. United States fiduciaries who present United States fiduciary instruments will present to the nearest dollar and no change is given. Sales are not taxed. During this program, United States fiduciaries may appear, and it's really not a program, it's the law. United States fiduciaries may appear at Office Depot and Office Max locations at any time during regular business hours. All store products are included in this program. The United States People and Patriots program starts on 2024 March 11. Any questions will be directed to Office Depot and Office Max headquarters at Boca Raton, Florida. And then here is a front and back image of a $1 United States fiduciary money instrument. Why do we call it an instrument? Why do we call it an instrument? Because it's one that we print out. We don't use theirs. We scan it in, and then we when we edit and do what we do, we print it out. Anything that you scan in and you print it out again, that's a new fresh item. It's not anything done by anyone else because you printed it. Okay, that's just basic print knowledge. Is when you print it out, it's a whole new thing. And then we do a wet ink signature on it right here. And as you can see on the front, we signed our signature there on it. And then the back pretty much stayed as it was because, again, our fiduciary document explains how we're able to do this. All of the attorney-in-fact documents and all. Again, when we autograph our copies and we cut them and use them, our copies are not, they don't belong to anyone else. They are ours. It says also in this same document, United States fiduciary instruments have various nominations to include $1, $5, $10, $20, $50, and $100 values. United States fiduciary instruments will have a blue or red wet ink fiduciary signature in the lower right section on the front of the instruments. And those signatures come from Moores. Red or blue, Moores, whichever you choose. We've chosen blue because we know that this is a commercial action, and blue is commerce. Our admiralty law, our commercial law, and our status apply. It says United States fiduciary instruments are generally the same size as a United States dollar or Federal Reserve note. And when we say Federal Reserve note, it's ones that we produce, we're talking about everything that belongs to us. We're not talking about debt notes. We're not talking about any of that. It says, and are treated in the same manner. All United States manufacturers, merchants, commercial venues, vendors, and outlets are participants in the United States People and Patriots program. And we spell Patriots the way that we spell it for a reason. With honor, Office Depot and Office Max corporate offices. And again, we know we are the chief executive officers. We're the chiefs. We're the national Office Depot and Office Max. So we did send notification to our corporate offices of this event.
Yeah, you can't get cell service or
now, let's see. Here's one for Albertsons grocery store. It says the exact same thing and shows the exact same thing. Here's one for Walmart. It says the exact same thing and shows. Now, what did we send with this? This is for Safeway grocery stores. Again, this is applicable to every. This is Costco, the one for Costco. This is the one for Winco. Okay, this is the one for Fred Meyer. And Morris, it is your responsibility to do the same thing where you've nationalized the logo. Here, for example, for Fred Meyer logo, we just put blue wheels instead of red wheels to nationalize the logo. Morris, it's your responsibility to put this notification out there for the places that are at your territory. And you don't have to do it for every single place. Just do it for the main 5, 6, or 7 places, the biggest places. The grocery store, that's where people go to most, is a grocery store. You could even do it for the banks. Okay? We still have to do the ones for the banks, or we not have to, we're going to do the ones for banks as well. But we will to start with the grocery stores, okay, and the office places where we get our ink and things from, because we are going to have to get ink. So that's also for those who, who are willing to have. You can do it for the post office. Go ahead. It's already done for the post office, but Moors, you must demonstrate this as well at your territories. So, Noble Phoenix, we would encourage you to go ahead and do the one for the post office and publish it, so that when you take your fiduciary money and do whatever it is you're going to do at the post office and wherever, that is accepted. And it's not even a matter of them accepting anything. It's Moors, do we want this? Do we will to have this service on the land? That's really what it is do we accept the offering? Do we accept that offering? We accept it under our terms and circumstances and the things that we state and the laws and things that we state.
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
So these documents, are you going to go ahead and put our stamps on them from the inferior courts and such?
I put our government stamp and seal on there. I did not feel it necessary to put the stamps and seals from the others because our gold seal and our embossment from the government, that's how we sent it out. Mm-hmm. Now, those who will to do that, you can do it the way you want to do it. That's why we're making these available, so that you can edit them and use them according to your will. We sent them just like this, but with our government, our gold stamps and seals. In fact, I think I still have the copies here, or we send originals actually. I believe I still have them here. Yeah, I do. I think so. And we'll just show you what the ones that we sent out look like, and what we sent with it.
Islam, a question in the meantime?
Islam.
So I've not had any fiat currency of not more than a $20 bill for quite some time. Mm-hmm. So that being the case, I'm wondering if anyone on the call, well, first of all, let me ask this other question first. When we sign it, does it matter what the serial number previously on it was? It doesn't matter. Okay, good. I thought that was the case. So if anyone on the call happens to have a $100 note or $50 note, I got a 20, and you're willing to share that.
If you go under the fiduciary video that we just referenced, you will see fiduciary money there. It's linked.
Oh, you already have a bunch of them on there.
100, 50, 120, whatever.
Oh, that rocks. Thank you.
When we voted on fiduciary money, we stated we were going to put it under the video, and people can just download.
That's awesome. That's all I need. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Islam.
I'm going to send my brother Noble Phoenix that right now. It's just he's on the call.
Islam. Let me say this more. This is not an option. This is a must for what's happening right now. And when I say it's not an option, I'm just saying that we have to produce a way for people to get whatever it is they need on our land. We must do this so that everyone can get what they need using our systems.
Islam. Would you please go ahead and share with the Congress what's happening in the old system that is also at the same time as what we are doing, what we're doing. The very fact that they are closing down all of these banks as of the 11th, the Treasury cannot print no more money. The banks, they can't hide nothing anymore. And come the 11th, it's what's the word for it? When your debt is due and it's time for you to meet your maker. In other words, Grim Reaper Day. I'm gonna call it that. It's Grim Reaper.
Actually, we call it a celebration of our estate day.
For them, it's Grim Reaper. For us, it's celebrating our, everything. Okay, but
and it's a switch of the system. It's just a switch of the system. That's all.
Yeah, but it's gonna be some issues for a lot of them out there. So if we're prepared and if we do this, we're going to be helping those people to be able to transition and be able to feed themselves and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's why I stated that it's really not an option. We must do this because here's the thing about, and this is what I love about our subjects. Our subjects were planning for this the whole time. Whenever you hear them talk about prepping for hard times, whatever, they knew that this was going to happen. And they knew that there was going to be about 90 days of us testing our systems, putting our systems, doing the testing and so on and so forth. Justice Your Highest, we suggest that you go to the video. We can put the link there. In fact, let's put the link to that video because we put it in the chat a little earlier. We'll put the link to the fiduciary video that has the funds there. We'll put the link to it in the chat once again. Let's see. Well, here's the video. It's called Fiduciary Money Approved in Bankruptcy Court. Fiduciary Liquidation in Progress. Go to Light Tajiri Bay channel and pull that link for yourself. Everyone. Pull that link.
I affirm I found it and I just opened it and I saw it. Yeah. It is there. It's on.
We could spoon feed you everything, but you're too smart for that. And that goes for everyone. Let's see. What document? Oh, the documents that we sent with those fiduciary fund letters include the fiscal service documents, where we are the sovereign fiduciary and power for attorney for all actions. These documents, I believe we showed you these back in the day. The fiscal services documents. We also sent our fiduciary affidavit on Moorish government letterhead. Okay. We sent that as well. We also sent, what else did we send? We sent quite a few of the fiscal services documents. They all look the same. They all look just like this. One says sovereign fiduciary and power of attorney. The other one was about being able to write checks from the Treasury, and you can go back and find those in that same, a lot of the same videos, where the video has the title Fiscal Services. It's about fiscal services. And then you'll find examples and our documents underneath that video, those videos about fiscal services. Yes, you are going to have to do a little research to find some of the videos. Again, we could spoon feed you, but you're too smart for that. And we're not about to underestimate the Moors. We're not about to underestimate them. And you can work with other Moors who already know where those videos are. My little green slips of the things that we send out. I will to show you a copy of the document with the stamp and seal on it. Yes, indeed, 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 nobility. The Moors are brilliant. And you know what? The thing is, people have underestimated the Moors for a very long time. People have underestimated us for a very long time because of the state that we were enacted as being in. However, that time is finished. And that's why that's why we got treated so poorly while we were enacting that state. Because everyone knows how smart we are. So now that we've shown you, we're pointing to the resources. We're pointing to the resources. Let's see, just one moment. So starting on the 22nd, which is Monday, not the 22nd, the 11th, I believe. Did we say the 11th or the 22nd? Let me go back and look just to be sure.
It is the 11th.
Yeah, it's the 11th. Starting on the 11th, we'll be using our fiduciary money everywhere. Everywhere.
Islam. Could you open up a meeting for Empress Rosetta?
It's open, Islam. It's open, Islam. So all we're doing is claiming what we've already stated is ours, okay? And the system already
Yo, shit,
knows
never gonna work.
The system knows that what we're doing is what it should be, okay? The system.
Your fictitious system is as stupid as you are, Polly.
The system recognizes that, and here's the thing: you could even go to self-checkout and use it.
Wait till you Negroes get caught with phony.
We also know, and again, do not use.
They're gonna put your asses.
Do not use fiat for this demonstration. Don't do it.
Fucking dumbass Pauline can't even remember.
Scan in the fiat. If you're going to be making your own, scan it in, and then print out. And we use magnetic ink on ours. Print it out. And when you print it out, autograph it in blue over in the little lower left-hand corner.
Really electronic.
And then cut it, to the same size as any fiat note would be. Cut it, and then use it that way. And here's the thing: we've placed it on the public record. We've let everyone know this is what we're doing. We've liened and levied and bonded. And here's the thing: if you the lien, levy, and bond on the United States of America, quote unquote, that lien, levy, and bond can go with all of these, so that you don't have to do a separate lien, levy, and bond for each one. You can just take that one and send it everywhere, and let that, because that's where everyone was paying. That's where everyone was paying taxes to. And now, even they're all saying in their enactment, they were saying they're not going to pay taxes because they're not getting any protection, and all these illegals are coming in and blah blah blah, which is just that's good acting, if you ask me.
Islam.
That
was the levy and bond from August on the U.S. corporation.
Yes.
Primary. That's the one you're referring to, right? The same one that's in our documents from August 3rd, 2018.
Yes.
All right. Very good.
The bond is probably dated a little more recent than that, but again, lien, levy, and bond, those three.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
When you're sending out these notices to notify the different venues that this is what you're doing. And we've already done so. We've already notified and sent all of this out. And we're going to use our fiduciary, our public money. And again, the citizen subjects can use this public money at the appointed time. We will tell you what that appointed time is. We must go first in terms of our systems. And all we're doing is unlocking doors, opening doors for everyone. Opening doors for everyone. And then once we send this through the system at the appointed time, then we'll start sending more sovereign dolarium in. I think there's two different iterations of fiduciary money. There's the one with the faces in black and white, and then there's fiduciary money that has brown faces on it. We'll introduce that probably in maybe a year or maybe less time than that. We'll see, because that is going to be the what do you call it? Proactive placement right before Morris Sovereign Delarium starts to go through the system. So we have a strategy. We have a strategy. And again, it's a transition. So
Islam,
Empress.
Again, for the claimer to claim these processes, I suggest, and it's highly suggested and recommended, that all 40 plus documents be put on the public record, and that you understand them. That's why we have these authority, and we know we are the authority because of those. We affirm the 40 documents that we put on the public record that states that we are the lawful, sovereign, living creditors in all capacities for all offices at earth. So that's what the 40 documents in red letters in ancient English. And I was so tickled that the Empress came and stated that Delarium has been since in time immemorial, and stated in ancient English, and not like it was necessary that, we silence those who naysayed, but it is just so much more affirming that we've always been true because of the ancestors has been speaking, and we listen. So with that stated, please do the 40 documents to put everything in place, because everything must be done in order. There's an order to this process, and the process must be done and adhered to for one's protection. All right? And so with that stated, Islam.
And she's not going to show her live bank account because
that is so true. That's very true. That there's a method to this. There's a method to the estate. Your spirit will let you know when you're ready to demonstrate something. Your spirit will let you know. So demonstrate. Don't feel like you're missing anything. Just go ahead and demonstrate according to your spirit. And listen, the system is going to system. Okay? It's going to do what it does. We can see that. Our ancestors willed that we use the system that we put in place, but use it in the proper jurisdiction. So that is what all of this is about. At the beginning of this Congress, we stated, we talked about why we're doing what we're doing. Again, the last 7 years inoculated us to the fear of doing what we're doing. Further inoculation is going to be every one of those 40-something documents that are in that same folder, looking at them, studying them, and as your spirit leads you, demonstrate them. Demonstrate means just present the document on the public record for you. That's what demonstrating a document is. That's the first step in demonstrating a document. Is saying, when you put it on the public record, then the ancestors will know that you're ready for the next level, whatever that level is, because all levels lead to our wealth, to our estate. And it is vast. It's eternal. So all we're doing right now is just continuing to do what is necessary in terms of opening doors for everyone who's coming. Our heirs are coming, our grand heirs, our great-grand heirs. Everyone is coming. Our kin are coming. The subjects are coming. And again, the subjects will be able to tell. I did not put that link in the chat. Let me boot that out. The subjects will be able to tell and give us some information about receiving, yeah, you're out of here, about receiving our fiduciary money. Now, let me say this too, that that everything that we do, we already know we have the authority to do it. We know that already. There's no question about our authority, not in our minds and not in the minds of anyone else. So, again, notification. Most persons at the stores won't know the difference between fiduciary money and fiat, but after a while they will, just because they'll see our faces. Fiduciary money is not an attempt to trick anybody or anything of that nature. We just know that that stuff that they were printing previously was not real. So the only way anything can be living and real is that we must be the source for it.
Islam.
So Islam, nobility.
The fiduciary money.
Mm-hmm.
What paper do we copy it on? Want to print it?
I did mine on bond paper.
Okay.
And I've shown you my bond paper previously. Let's see. I'll grab one of the bond papers. This one.
Prove her shit doesn't work. She claims to have a deposit, but she can't show her live bank account. Only she showed a screenshot where she doctored it up and added her little shit, but she can't show her real bank account. Ha ha ha! That proves.
That's cowardly. Don't be a coward. Okay, this is the, here, let me take all my notes off of it. That's so good. Noble Phoenix, thank you for that question. Oops. Oops. He said, what about if they whip out the proverbial highlight pen to check to see if it's counterfeited? That's what the magnetic ink is for. That's the only way they knew.
Well, technically that's not true. They also were looking for that strip in the middle.
It's going to be there.
On the carbon copy? It goes through there?
Let me just show you what mine looks like.
Okay.
It's there.
Oh,
everything is there.
Okay.
And then our blue autograph is going to be right above, because again, we're actually presenting real money for a change.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get out of this meeting here, whoever that is, trying to pretending to be light ties. They want us to look at their videos. That's why they keep putting links to their own videos in here that nobody looks at. Nobody looks at that stuff. Islam Empress.
They cannot actually refuse the fiduciary money.
They cannot. They cannot. They can't.
They can't.
Because the system recognizes it.
Yeah.
The system recognizes it.
Islam, why not just go to the self-checkout since they want us to check ourselves out all the time?
That's exactly what we're going to do. That's exactly what we're going to do. Oh, and again, we were doing that anyway, because remember we were talking about that previously. We were doing that anyway because everything belongs to us anyway. Everything belongs. We're not babies. We don't need anyone to check out our stuff for us. We can do it ourselves. Now, do we will that everybody be out of a job and we just run everybody? No, we don't will that. They can keep doing it for those who need help checking their stuff out. Those who haven't awakened yet. They can do that for them for as long as the people, let them do it. But there's a group of us, there's a nation, the government can do whatever the government is doing. Because see, at some point, those that are going through those lines their stuff is going to be shut down too. They're going to go out onto Facebook and ask a question or say something, and somebody's going to shut their stuff down. Yes, at self-checkout, if it gives you change, just say that give it to pay it forward or pay it back. Give it to the people behind you or the people in front of you. And that's why we stated to get as close to that amount as possible. So make sure you take at least 10 ones. Make sure you take at least some 5s and some 10s, and that way you can get real close to that amount, and it'll only spit out change, and that you can leave that change right in the thing, or give it to whoever's behind you or whatever, pay it forward, whatever. That's what we'll be doing, is because we don't accept their change. That's the point. See, Barack was trying to tell everybody about the change piece. We're going to be generous and say, keep the change. Keep it.
It's not worth anything.
It's not worth anything. It's not. It's not even real. Pennies were supposed to be made of copper, and you look at them things and you can scratch that little weak stuff off. No. Keep that. We're doing substance for substance and claims. Claims. We're making the claim because we've already ruled on our claim. See, our ancestors know what they're doing when things take a while for things to happen. Noble Phoenix, thank you for that. We know you're not afraid. He said he's not feared, just asking. I was saying that for the benefit of those who are listening. So more in the Congress, sometimes when I say things like whatever I say, I'm not just speaking to the one who asked the question. I'm actually saying the things that we state, what we state for the benefit of the new Moors and those who are paying attention to what we're doing. Islam Empress.
On the magnetic dilemma,
don't call it a dilemma.
Pardon me? Don't call it what?
Don't call it a dilemma.
Okay, all right. All right.
Not even.
Okay, not even opportunity. Is that word?
Opportunity. Great. That's great.
Okay, cool. All right. That's for my consort. Anyway, he recently made a deposit of a post office money order online. So there's no way there was a magnetic transfer there. So is there really? Do we really need the magnetic ink? I'm one of those who's having a difficult time trying to find it for this machine. So So is that really true that we need the magnetic process? If he was able to make that deposit online, he just made a copy of it.
That's what I'm saying. Those who get the magnetic ink, we say get it and use it, because there's coming down the way some other things that we're going to be using it for. Okay. But it's not necessary. It's not a need. We don't have any needs. It's a matter of the system and so on and so forth. But no, when let me just ask you about that, by the way. Did he take a photo of some notes?
A post office money order.
A post office money order, okay.
A what deposit, hon?
Mobile deposit.
A mobile deposit.
On your
Yeah. Most banking apps, if you receive a check, you can take a picture of it. And
that's what happened.
Yeah. That's we get that. And if you don't have magnetic ink, you still have to demonstrate, because those things are going to be closing after a while. We want you to be prepared. That's what we're doing. It's preparing for what's coming.
So does the magnetic ink come in color and black and white? I'm not sure.
Just black. That we know of.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Here's the thing about magnetic ink. Now, let me say this, because as we were researching magnetic ink, we found, think about this, we found that you could actually go on to Amazon and all of these, and these places, and you can look up, when I first started looking up magnetic ink, the first thing that came up, because I put in red magnetic ink, okay, the first thing that came up was crime scene ink. It was a powder form of magnetic ink that when they take one of those little brushes and they sprinkle that magnetic ink on the walls of a crime scene, it will reveal the fingerprints. Now, think about that more, because see, the system knows where this is coming from.
I confirm that. That is true.
Our ancestors know what they're doing through us. They know what they're doing. And so as we're doing what we're doing, these are some that I made, that I printed out, and there's our autograph there, you know, in blue. Listen, our ancestors know what they're doing.
Islam, Empress, I can't see the demonstration that you're showing.
Oh, just one moment. Let's see. Okay, can you see us? Can you see my face right now on the screen, maybe?
No.
No? Okay, let me make sure I share this properly. I see. You can?
Yes.
Okay. Justice Malik, there may be something going on with your screen. But this is one. Can you see now? Can you see me now?
No, I'm gonna try to log out and log back in, I guess.
Okay.
If the meeting is open. Okay, I'll try to log out and log back
in. Let me open the meeting for you right now too, Nobility.
Islam.
It's open. So this is one of our notes that we made, one of our public fiduciary fund notes that we made, that we printed out and put our blue ink on there. So it's the same size as the debt notes that they were making in the last era. So again, and again, here's what, just so that you all know what they look like. It looks like debt notes. However, it's coming from the real Federal Reserve and not the fake one. It's not coming from actors. We uploaded, edit, print out, and you don't necessarily have to edit it. You can edit it if you choose to, because we were going to put our signature in blue on all of them and have it just printed out that way. But I said no. I think that it's best that a wet ink autograph be on there in blue, because in reality that's where the treasurer and the secretary for the treasurer and all that, that's where that was supposed to be. So we were supposed to sign there, and you could have signed on the left or the right, either one. The right might even be a good idea as well.
Islam, Empress, can you show that demonstration one more time?
This one right here. This is what can you see it, Justice Malik? This one is what we,
yes, I see it.
This is one of ours that we printed out and cut and did the things with, so that as we go about doing what we're doing, we're not that those who were previously, and really we're not talking about cashiers, we're talking about a system, that the system will do what it is made to do. It's made to do. Okay, and the paper that we use, again, for the record, just one moment, is this. It's Southworth parchment paper. Southworth parchment paper. This paper and resume paper is the same, but I prefer the parchment paper myself. Or you can use a paper called G Natural paper. G Natural paper looks a lot like this paper as well. And it's the 24-pound paper. Okay. And so that is what we make ours with. And then we just keep on going. And we made all of this with using magnetic ink, front and back, and and that will make it so. Islam nobility.
You said that magnetic ink coming in black. So how do we get it to be in the color that we want it to?
It's going to print in the color of whatever you print. So every piece of paper that you print, even if the paper is in either red or blue or whatever, it's going to have a certain amount of black in it. Okay? So it's automatically going to make it black. It's going to magnetize it, no matter what color it is. These happen to be the same color as the notes from the previous era. Everything is the same color. We just used magnetic ink to print it. So all of the black that's in this is magnetized.
Okay.
Okay. So is there a template? Yes. And again, the template for the fiduciary money, just one moment, let me get this off the screen. The template for the fiduciary money is under the video that we spoke about again at the beginning of the Congress. Fiduciary money approved in bankruptcy court, fiduciary liquidation and process. This is part of the liquidation process. Okay? This is part of the liquidation process. If there's someone who does not have fiduciary money or whatever, they don't have whatever they need, it must be a priority. This must be a priority. Before you buy another pizza, and I'm not saying people are buying pizzas, what I am saying is before you spend on any credits on anything else, this must be a priority. It must be. Printers and scanners and paper and ink must be your priority. And listen, if you're helping other people, it's not their job to supply you, it's your job to supply you. Because if you're helping them, you should know how to supply you. We had to learn how to supply us so that we don't start exchanging fiat between us and Moors. Because what is that? But here's the beauty of this. Now that we have these processes in place, we're happy to do things for Moors, but it's going to be gold, silver, or Moorish sovereign dolarium, and we've proven that. Gold, silver, or Moorish sovereign dolarium, because the Moorish sovereign dolarium is deposited into our bank. And our banks are going to do nothing but grow from this point. And I can't say nothing. Our banks are going to grow exponentially. Okay.
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
Well, I was just searching for ink, right? And I found is Versa ink Nano Black MICR ink, 85 milliliter magnetic ink for printers. Because I looked for check ink for check printers, right? Yeah. And then it says that it's versatile and it can be used in any inkjet printers, and it can be reusable. Like if you got a syringe, and because the way back like 10, 20 years ago, they started making, it was like a mandate that they make some cartridges refillable. So if you have a refillable ink cartridge, you could get this ink and get a syringe and fill up your cartridge with this ink. And that is an option. And for to figure things out. Yeah. Because we always figure out things and have a remedy for everything. So this one, it says eBay is 53.32 credits, and the other one is Amazon, and it's 39.99 credits. And so, and it's 85 milliliter bottle. So it seems like it will be substantial. And so I'm looking at my printer, which is an inkjet. And so I could just put like a partial amount in there because I have a substantial amount of black ink in already. So as far as I'm concerned, like a little bit of particles mixed with the ink that's already there, it would still be magnetic. Because it all, once you magnetize something, it becomes magnetized.
Yeah. This is the one that we use. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but here, just one moment. Let me put this on. Just one moment. This is so crazy. So we use MICR ink as well. With that being stated, again, if you will to have fiduciary money templates and things, they're under this video that we have on the screen right here. We printed out some fiduciary money, and we burned the ones that was pretending to be money that we made that from. We burned that at our ceremony, so that way the living and the dead will never meet in anywhere because they're already burned. We burned them. We had a ceremony to burn the fiat that was printed by the dead ones. So with that being stated, are there any other questions, comments, or wisdom about what we're doing? I'm telling you right now, we have been groomed and made and created over the last 7 years for these types of demonstrations. There are some that are going to be too scared to do it. And listen, we hope no one starves because you're too afraid to do this. We hope you don't. And I'm not talking to anybody who's a part of what we're doing. You all are not. You've never been scared. You know, I think about the things that we did even in our sleep. We weren't too scared to do that stuff even in our sleep. So we already know that we are absolutely ready for these types of demonstrations. We have to. It's not even optional, because those things are being shut down. Everything is being shut down. Printers, it will work with. Where there's a will, there's a way. So don't let what you read about anything settle it in your mind. Whatever you read, if you go online and it says, oh, magnetic ink only works for this, this, and this, don't have it settled in your mind that that's true. Will the ink to present itself, and it will, because it's out there. We're not the first ones to manifest magnetic ink. The system will produce everything that we need. And we don't need anything, really. It will produce the tools because we produce the tools. We manifest them. So don't be scared, and don't be and don't take anything that you read out there as law. If Amazon, if it says it doesn't have it, that's not necessarily the law. Just you'll find it. You will find what you will to find. Do we know what the outcome of this demonstration is going to be? Yes, we're going to get the things that, as we, again, all we're doing is taking the things and doing the foundation of setting up our commerce and the things that we do. Indeed. I did not realize until this demonstration that in the last era they were using they were enacting magnetic ink on those on their fiat notes. But see, after a while they stopped doing that because nobody was even paying attention and nobody was accepting it overseas. See, the magnetization of it made it so that the people overseas knew that there was something going on there. Once the magnetization stopped, people were like, no, we want our gold. Or the persons were acting, saying, we want our gold because this is not real. The money that they were, the thing that they were acting as money from the last era, it wasn't real. Fiat was never real from the enactment, from actors. This is actually the real money that we're producing and generating and originating. Islam. With that being stated, let me just say this too, just as a side note regarding the validity of what we're stating about when you scan something in and you print it out, that is treated differently because it is different. Think about this. In your sleep, in the last era, if you were issued an ID or a driver's license or anything, if you presented a copy of it and said, this is my driver's license, they would have said, no, that's not your driver's license. Where's the one that was issued to you? They would want you to show the one that's laminated, that they put in the little machine and laminated, or they put, something in there. Yes, indeed, Empress Ciacia. She said fiat literally is the same colors of the monopoly money. Yes, it is. So, again, when you scan it in and print it out, it's a whole new thing. And then you take the one that you scanned and burn it so that it doesn't, because light and dark do not go together. They don't go together. And you can go back and look at our fiat burning ceremony for that. And listen, I'm telling you, there was a liberty that I felt in the atmosphere the day that we did the fiat burning ceremony. In my spirit, the freedom was there. And then the ancestor said, okay, go ahead and walk that out. Walk it out. Show how that works. And that's what we're doing. So, are there any other questions, comments, wisdom regarding anything that we stated thus far and these demonstrations starting next week? Because it's been a year and a half. Islam Empress.
Islam Empress, you were just mentioning about how the subjects required actually for you to have the actual laminated card. Where were you going with that? You didn't finish. I don't think you finished your thought.
Well, what I was stating is that in the last era, they would issue you a driver's license, right? Well, when you if you were to scan in a copy of your driver's license and try to use the scan-in copy as the real one, they would say, no, you can't use that. You have to use the driver's license that you was issued, or you would have to order a duplicate.
Islam, I remember that.
And the reason for that is because they know once you scan it in and print it out, it's not the same. It's not the same as the driver's license. And the same thing goes for the fiat. When you scan it in and then you print out your own version of that, it's not the same as fiat. Therefore, the jurisdiction is different. That means you've created your own. So, Islam Empress, hopefully that further explain that. Thank you, because I tend to go off to the side sometimes.
Yes, Empress, it was clear. Thank you. And I just wanted to state that we created our own state driver's license, and we got some work as well. You know, what we call a job. We got some work using that as well. And our state security, our state security card.
Yeah. You're the government, Empress. We're the government. We must do these things. We can't use that other stuff. You know. Oh, the reports on this Congress, the reports of success are just, I got goosebumps just from that alone. Are there any other Islam nobility?
Yes, this is Leon the Barber, territory. On the license, the IDs, are there updates on ours?
Here's the update. I've not received anything from you, but let me tell you what that's saying to me. What that is saying to me is that the ancestors will for you to create your own. I haven't received any of the documentation here at all.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's still showing at the post office in other than Washington State.
Yeah.
It's doing there. So I don't know if it probably got lost.
You know what? It may have. They might have lost it because the things that come through are coming through. So my suggestion would be that you create your own.
Okay.
I know that sounds a certain way, but listen, just go into Word on your computer and create it and use it. Go into Word, create it. If you don't have Word, use WordPad. I don't have Word, I have WordPad. Just create both your nationality ID and your driver's license, your federal driver's license. You know what they look like. And here's the thing. They can look almost exactly like the ones you were using in the last era as long as you create them and you sign them. All Moors are the government and have the authority. And this is the thing. That's not even a choice. It's not even optional. You must create your own if you're going to be doing commerce on the land. If you're going to be buying groceries, you have to have your own.
That's true. Okay.
Islam, one of the subjects at one of the grocery stores in this territory mentioned that to me as well, that we would have to have a driver's license to be able to shop in the grocery store. And that had already been mentioned at our Congress anyway, so I already knew that.
Yes. Why? Because the Moors have stated that everyone must be properly identified on this land. We said that. That's why they're doing it.
Islam, I affirm.
Yes, Empress, thank you for that information. Moors, listen, everything is being put in place so that no one has to go without on the land. No one has to go without. No one has to go without. And no one will as long as we keep doing what we're doing. So, with that.
So we are at the 7th day of the month of March. And in the Greco-Roman calendar, it will be daylight saving time on March 10th, the day we meet for Congress Sunday. And that means we march ahead in an hour. So are we going to meet at our regularly scheduled time, or are we going to move ahead an hour and meet?
It's up to the Congress. What do you all think? should we observe daylight savings time to move forward? I'm in favor of moving forward because of what it means for us, and because this was a leap year, we're leaping forward. That's
Islam. I affirm moving forward.
Yes.
Islam, I affirm moving forward.
Because yes. I mean, think about that. The leap
I'd
year.
like to affirm moving forward. And so from that moment forward, moving forward on the 10th, we shall stay that course and never enact falling back again. Islam.
Islam, Noble Phoenix. I affirm. Just move forward and let's go.
Yes, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Islam.
Islam. I affirm.
I affirm.
I affirm.
Islam, Travis Bay, Michigan territory. I affirm. Islam, Justice Malika Kill Bay. I affirm. Illinois territory.
Islam, Justice Akil Kanimbi Easley L. Shaka Mexican territory. I affirm.
Islam.
Islam. Michael Wabagi Bay, Mississippi territory. I affirm.
Islam.
Islam, Real Good and Lloydell, Land of Tomorrow. I affirm as well.
Islam.
Islam, Nana Maria Bay, London territory. I affirm.
Islam.
Islam, Shasha, and Bay, Jamaica territory. The clock doesn't actually shift here, but I absolutely concur and affirm.
Indeed, Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Mr. Jubei, I affirm.
Islam, Nabi Bay Mahad El, I affirm, Texas territory.
Islam. It is unanimous. I like Tajiri Bay. I affirm as well that we leap forward and never go back. I will to congratulate Chief Justice. Yes, Islam nobility. I will to congratulate Chief Justice Nawa on creating her own nationality and driver's license. Islam.
Islam. Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Islam.
That's called governing Islam.
Islam Empress. This is Chief Justice Nawe.
Yay! Yes.
I want to affirm what you stated to the Noble, as that was my experience, trying to get someone else to assist me in doing that, and it never worked out.
Our ancestors will that we do it.
And so I just asked the ancestors to help me with it, and I woke up about 3 a.m. this rising, and just went to work, and they assisted me.
There it is. Congratulations, Chief Justice. We honor your demonstration. Islam.
It's Ronnie L. Bay, Florida territory. I affirm.
Thank you, nobility. Islam. And to
Islam.
those in the chat as well. Yes, all Moors, create your own nationality IDs and federal driver's license. We are one. This is a trust. Let's go. Let's do this. Islam. With that being stated, I have, that is all that we will to bring forth this evening. We will adjourn and we will meet again on Sunday at 6 p.m., which we will be leaping forward and moving forward and springing forward and all of that. So it will be with clocks sprung forward this coming Sunday. Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Thank you all for the testaments of our success. Islam.
Islam.
Rising.
Islam.
Islam. Wealthy rising.
Islam Wars.
Wealthy
Great rising.
Before you cut out, very clever. All about money. Prepared to do this this Saturday to finalize everything. And here you have the subject matter today. So thank you for the extra jewels. We were already on track, moving in that direction.
For
and I'm like,
fiduciary
wow.
money?
Yes.
Perfect.
We were talking about using it at the post office and everywhere else, and so we were going to have that in our inner circle this Saturday. And we're still going to do it, but now we got more tools to use and more references. So especially with the template, I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that was out there.
Yes. Our ancestors know what they're doing. Listen, we just might as well go on and trust them.
Oh, please, you got that right. Islam.
Islam.
Yes.
Gratitude.
Islam.
Islam. Thank you.
You're welcome. Peace and grand rising.
Rising.
Islam.
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 I'm trying to